Waking up, getting ready for school, catching your bus, reaching school and meeting your friends, talking with them about the most stupid topic that can exist, coming back home, resting for some time, then going outdoors to play some football with your neighboring friends. It starts getting dark and your mom calls you back home. Sounds like a perfect day, doesn't it? But when did it all stop? When did we start spending more than half of our day in front of screens, scrolling and sending reels to each other, liking memes and looking through comments, being closed up inside four walls, not wanting to have any social interaction, failing at maintaining relationships, struggling with anxiety and depression? Where did it all go wrong? How did the generation get trapped in this well of brain rot? This is exactly what we'll talk about in this video. What went wrong with Gen Z? To put things in context, Gen Z, which is short for Generation Z, refers to the people born between the late 90s and the early 2010s. The most commonly stated year range for Gen Z that you will find online is people born between 1997 and 2012. This generation has grown up alongside the internet. Obviously, with rapid growth in technology, the world has been a very different place for our generation while growing up compared to the previous generations. Growing up in such a time, this generation quickly adapted to newer technologies at a very young age, resulting in being very comfortable with technology. From a very young age, this generation started spending a lot of time in front of screens. Rather than going outside of their houses to play with friends, new mediums of enjoyment came up, playing video games and online games with friends, spending a lot of time on social media, having access to all kinds of content from throughout the world, getting highly stimulated just in their teenage years and their mind being swallowed by social media. Gen Z reportedly has a higher likeliness of experiencing stress and anxiety.
Are you lonely?
Yeah.
How come?
Are you gonna make me emotional?
Young adults report roughly twice the rates of anxiety and depression as teens. The young adults are not okay.
Constantly comparing themselves with others, seeing people live perfect lives, the fake facade of the world that social media portrays develops a sense of inferiority and FOMO. To escape these anxious feelings, this generation often seeks cheap dopamine, which they can easily get from social media itself. The rise of short-form content in the past 5-6 years has made it extremely easy to escape reality in literal seconds. It kills your time and destroys your attention span and ability to focus. And it's not just social media. Pornography and consumption of adult content are more common in today's age than ever before. Again, creating unrealistic expectations in these young minds, the internet has had a tremendous impact on Gen Z. With daily average screen times of over 7-8 hours, this generation is frying up their brains. You must have heard people saying that humans now have lesser attention spans than goldfishes. Well, they are correct. Studies have found that the average attention span of humans has dropped from 12 seconds in the year 2000 to 8 seconds now. The average attention span of a goldfish is 9 seconds. Just 9 seconds. All of this thanks to social media. The overstimulation and access dopamine rush has not only affected our attention span, it has also brought a huge eruption of loneliness in this generation. Loneliness, the feeling of sadness because one has no friends or company, makes you feel isolated and disconnected from the whole world. Gen Z is often referred to as the loneliest generation. The internet is filled with articles about the loneliness epidemic that is spreading throughout the world in this generation. Humans are social animals, and when we can't fulfill our social needs, it starts to impact our mental health. This also explains the rising cases of Gen Zers experiencing anxiety and depression. But why? Why is Gen Z so lonely? I'll tell you exactly why. Having bad social and communication skills and not wanting to have real-time interactions with people, all these are the subset of negative aspects of social media. Social media replaces the need to have real-time conversations and takes the interactions online. But when these people need to have face-to-face interactions, they start experiencing anxiousness, which makes them avoid these kinds of situations. With time, many of the Gen Zers started to avoid directly communicating with people completely, resulting in not being able to form bonds with other people, isolating themselves. In many cases, these kids end up getting addicted to intoxicating themselves because of using alcohol, excessive smoking, and substance abuse as a coping mechanism. Another big event that heavily impacted the mental health of this generation was the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic came during the teenage years of Gen Z, the phase where we start understanding how the world truly works. But getting caged inside their own homes at such a crucial stage in their lives resulted in Gen Zers losing their will to interact with people at all. This has become a massive roadblock in developing social skills and building meaningful relationships for these youngsters. Now, coming to the topic of relationships, let's take a look at the dating culture of this generation. Dating has become a very casual thing for this generation, rather than committing to a single partner for the long term. Gen Z gives more priority to experiences. These experiences can include being in an emotional and physical relationship with someone without committing to them. This dynamic of not committing but doing everything else you do in a relationship with someone is called a situationship. Another term called benching has also spread through the dating scene of Gen Z. As the name suggests, benching refers to keeping someone as a backup option if things won't work out with your current partner. The increased number of divorces and breakups in these generations makes it seem like Gen Z isn't interested in love at all. The Gen Z dating culture seems extremely toxic and negative, but it's only one side of the coin. All of this sounds as if the concept of true love, where you choose to live the rest of your life with a single person, experience all phases of life together, build a home, a family together, seems to have been lost in this generation. But it's not exactly true. It's not the concept of true love, but rather the faith in true love that has been lost. Seeing the challenges and conflicts in the relationships and marriages of previous generations, Gen Z feels that true love comes with sacrifices, which this generation isn't yet ready to make. Enjoying their youthful years and progressing in their career has a much higher priority in these young minds in the present. They only see dating as a way to fulfill their social, emotional, and physical needs. They still hope to find true love, but at a much later stage in their life, when they have accomplished certain things that they want from their life. Not all's wrong with Gen Z. Despite so many challenges and negative aspects, the future of Gen Z still can't be predicted as doomed. I have so far talked about everything that has gone wrong with Gen Z. But many things have also gone right. A lot of societal issues that were considered to be taboo by previous generations are now openly discussed among Gen Z. This generation has a higher likeliness of taking risks and stepping away from the conventional path. They are more ambitious and dare to reach unimaginable heights. Every generation has to face a unique set of problems that the universe throws at them. Now that we have come to the end of the video, I would like to give a message to my fellow Gen Z. Let's not be the generation that destroys humanity. Let us be the generation that thrived, the generation that reached greater heights, and the generation that made the world a better place to live. Our generation is already despised by the previous ones, but let us be remembered by the future ones. Signing off, a fellow Gen Z.